Oh, something different.
2 Kings chapter 5, verses 1 to 5. Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and in high favor, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. Now the Syrians, on one of their raids, had carried off a little girl from the land of Israel, and she worked in the service of Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, "Would that my Lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria. He would cure him of his leprosy." So Naaman went in and told his Lord. Thus, and so spoke the girl from the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, "Go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel." So he went, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. I'd like to talk this morning about a special set of people, divine connectors. When we look at this story in the Bible, we see a man who was great, renowned, powerful, commander of the armies, one who was used to victory, but he had an issue. He was leprous. He had leprosy, and no cure could be found for it. So though he was great, he had a need. Now on the other side, we see a little girl who was a no name. Notice in the scripture, her name was not even recorded. A no name. Little, as opposed to when speaking of Naaman, he says he was great, but the little maid. Not only was she a no name, she was a servant. She was not in her land. She was taken out of her land as a slave. Seemingly insignificant, but she was a connector. Yes, Naaman had a need. Naaman, with all his greatness, was leprous and could find no one in his circle who would be able to help him. But help was possible. Help was in Israel. Help was with the prophet Elijah. But Naaman had no connection to the prophet. He didn't even know of the prophet. But the little girl, she looked and she spoke to his wife, her mistress, and said, if Master was in Israel, he could get healed. This prophet could heal him. Though she seemed insignificant, though she was not in his social standing or circles, she was able to make a connection, to bring him together with the solution for his problem. Sometimes God uses divine connectors in our lives. Persons whom they cannot fix our problems, but they can connect us to those who can. They are not the answers to our prayers, but they can connect us to the answers. Of course, Sometimes we miss it because of our pride, because of our ego, because we look down our noses on some persons. The answer is not always in your circle. Sometimes we need a connector to bring us to the place of our destiny, to take us into the halls of victory. There has been a promise, there has been prophecy on your life, but there needs to be a connector to move you out of your circle into the one you need to get in. So let us ask God for discerning, that we might be able to discern our divine connectors, so that we do not turn our noses up at those who are able to put us together with our solution, with our blessing, with our answers. Of course, it also means that we've got to learn to honor all, treat all well, and remember, a wise person can learn from a fool, but a fool will never learn from the wise. God bless you. Let's talk about this. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Be blessed.
Oh.